In this video, we're going to find out how to get the payment when you owe maybe some money, like poor old Willie does. He owes the government $500,000 in back taxes. He's settling up with the government, and he said, just give me 5 years. And so he's going to make a payment at the end of each of the next 5 years, and he needs to know how much will that be. Well, because of the fact that we have interest involved, we can't just take the lump sum that he's going to pay and divide it by 5, because the IRS wouldn't be getting paid their interest, right? So each payment is going to be a little bit, it's a little bit more complicated. So let's figure out how to do this. First, we're going to plug in the right information here. We have how many years? Is 5. And the rate, we said the government is charging 7% interest. The present value is what he owes today. So I'm going to type in 500,000 on that. And the payment we're going to be solving for, the type, I'm going to leave this blank, and future value will be 0. He won't owe anything at the end of the 5 years. To solve for payment, I'm going to go up here to our formulas, and I'm going to scroll down till I find the formula that is PMT, payment. Click on it. I like my little box here, and I'm just going to plug in some numbers. We'll put in the rate, number of periods, the present value. I'm putting it in as a negative, and I'm leaving those two blank since we don't have to worry about those. And so his payment at the end of each year is going to be $121,945. So like I said, if we just took that $500,000 divided in 5, he'd only be paying $100,000 per year. But you know, there's no such thing as free loans. You know, there's interest attached, and the IRS is going to make sure they get theirs. Now, what we can do to make sure that we actually did this correct, because maybe we like to see, is it really going to be fully paid off at that point? I'm going to go ahead and make an amortization table showing this loan getting paid off. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me just make a few adjustments. What I've done is I've set up an amortization table. So these are similar columns if you watched a previous video when Jonas was getting ready to pay back for the studio equipment. So in this case, we know that the amount that Willie owed was $500,000, but I'm going to go ahead and click it from my reference point there so I don't have to type. The payment, I hit equals, then I find the payment there. You want to make sure you do that because Excel has rounded to the nearest dollar, and so you don't want to be typing that. You might come off $1 or $2 short at the end. So I did an equals. For interest expense, just to remind you, he had to pay interest. At the first year, he had basically a $500,000 payable. So what we're going to do is hit equals, and I'm going to click on this. Then I'm going to hit the times, and I'm going to put in 10%. Sorry, it was 7%. Good for Willie. So out of that payment that he made, 35 went towards interest. The rest went down into paying off his principal. So I do equals. I'm going to click on my payment amount, subtract out my interest amount. There we go. For my ending carrying value, I'm going to simply do equals, click my beginning carrying value, subtract out the principal amount that I paid when I made that first payment, or Willie did. Okay, so then when I get down to the second year, I'm going to write do type equals, and then I'm going to click on that cell. Now, since that has referenced this prior year, and all I have to do is drag this little handle here, and those will fill in a minute. For this one, what I can do is I could go ahead and make this a stationary payment. And so basically what I'm going to do is hit equals. I'm going to click that payment, and I'm going to hit the F4 button on my keyboard. And what that does is it put dollar signs right there in the formula. I'm going to hit enter. And now when I pull down on this tail, it's going to just fill in the same dollar amount for each one. Okay, when it comes to interest expense, this is a formula, and when I just click the tail on this one, it's going to fill in appropriately. This same thing and this same thing. So I'm going to highlight both of those, pull the tail down, and if I've done this correctly, then we're going to see a 0 at the end. So what I want you to notice is that at the end, look at this. That last payment, that last year, he only owes $113,000 plus some more. The interest expense on that is only, it's a little less than $8,000. Look what it was back in year 1. It was $35,000. So what's happening is that the IRS is being compensated for the correct amount of interest that's owed to them. And so as he owes less, he has to pay less interest. And so it's just one of the nice things about an amortization table is you can kind of see how the accounting is working too. And so there you go. So that should take you through at least the next one on your homework assignment.